Making a decision but not being able to do it is a big problem that we all face. We can't make a plan and implement it. We can't decide on something and then put it into action. We need to think about why this is. Making a decision means that its end result is something we want. For example, if we decide to work out every day, it means that we want a good body and a good physique. That is, its outcome is something we desire the most. But at the same time, there is also something called a process inside it where hard work is required. This process is because we are reluctant to do it. What we can't do after making a decision is that our body is most interested in conserving energy. That is, avoiding things that require energy without wasting energy. At the same time, our mind and brain have a tendency to stay in the same state as it is and not jump into new things. Similarly, there is a tendency for our emotions to be involved in things that give us the most pleasure, things that give us comfort, things that give us joy. So all three of these are, when we start doing something that is hard, we will be reluctant and will start to resist it. That is, when we make a decision, we still want the end result we want, but we are reluctant to do the process for it. The part that we should pay attention to is this process itself. There are two things involved in it. One is discipline. Two are motivation. Self-discipline is a very limited energy. We cannot expect everything all the time. So the process that we intend to do is to make it the most enjoyable, the most interesting, the easiest to complete. Similarly, if we have motivation, we often do not have to rely on something called discipline. So how can we keep our motivation levels high during the process? How can we keep our motivation up? Bill Gates says, "I have not taken a single day off in my 20s." That is, if we want to achieve this by working hard, we have to put in the process, that is, in it. You have to love every element that it contains so much. Ian Fleming created the James Bond character. He had a very strong imagination and a good drawing ability. He also had years of experience in his hands as an officer in British Naval Intelligence. He had stories in his mind. But he knew that writing a 300-page book was a lot of hard work. It was very painful. Imagination and experience alone would not do it. He needed a process for that. He knew that only a process that he could enjoy and be involved in would make this big task possible. So he did a small thing. He set aside the first 3 hours of every day and an hour after lunch for writing. He tried to make that time as free as possible. That is, he wrote whatever came to mind at that time. He didn't try to correct mistakes there. He didn't try to see if it was right or wrong. He didn't judge, no matter how poor the work was. He decided to keep writing at that time, a 4-hour period without looking at perfection. But after considering the power of this, he made the process easier. There are many other factors that can hold us back, such as self-doubt. Will I have the quality to write? Is the language correct? Not only did he make the process easier by eliminating all the other obstacles that could come his way, but he also turned the satisfaction that comes with writing for so long every day into a motivation. Similarly, we should be able to set a daily goal every day. We can set it in two ways. One, we can set it in terms of time, or we can set it in terms of things to be done. That is, we can set it in terms of whether we will write 5 pages or sit down to write for 2 hours. This means that one of the great advantages of doing this is that we make things as easy as possible for discipline. We do not rely solely on discipline, but by giving it only the weight it can bear. The second thing is to use the right methods. That is, when we do things the right way, we will feel this very easily. For example, if we feel lazy, we can try to do it for just 5 minutes. Say, "I'll do it for just 5 minutes," and try to do it for just 5 minutes, or put away the phone, put other things that distract us in another room, and try to make a plan of what to do and do it in this way. When we start using the correct methods, it will be easier for us to put our decision into action. The third thing is to keep up motivation. Motivation is a very important factor. Our biggest motivation is the strength of what we are doing. What is the outcome? It is important to clearly and deeply imprint it in our mind. That end goal should always be in mind. Similarly, we should try to cut each part of our process into small pieces and complete it in small parts. Then the satisfaction we get when we complete each part will motivate you. Similarly, we should do pep talks. That is, we should talk to ourselves at times. We should engage in conversations with ourselves in such a way that we can motivate yourself and try to keep your motivation level high. The fourth point is very important. Learn to love what you do in the process. Stanley, who gave birth to the character Spider-Man, says something like, do what you love and love what you do. Similarly, learn to love what you do. Often the things we love are not always the things we do best, but we find reasons to love that activity. When we love something, it becomes very easy for us to do. Malcolm Gladwell says, hard work is a prison only if it does not have a meaning. That is, when we feel burdened, it does not mean anything. We do not get any joy. When we do not love it, then we try to put that problem aside. The fifth point is to work hard and understand its satisfaction. That is, when we make some decisions and put them into action, set some goals, and there is a satisfaction that we get when we do it every day, a joy that comes from remembering it. After a few days of hard work, we will understand the joy that hard work brings to our lives. We will keep it in our minds. Kobe Bryant says that great things come from hard work and perseverance. If you look at the lives of great businessmen, entrepreneurs, and athletes, there is one thing that we can see without a doubt. Hard work is what brings strength. So the most important thing is that we never forget that hard work has strength. So from today, what we need to strive for is not just to make a decision, how to put that decision into action, how to learn to love that process, how to make the process as easy as possible. Thomas Jefferson says that you should never waste your time because if you work hard for an hour and see the power of it, then in all the hours you have lost, you will have worked hard. Even if you did, how much could you have created? So you know the value of your time. Be willing to put in the hard work.